Welcome back, guys. I have the giggles again. We're here with another episode for Legal Lounge. My name is Karenza.
My name is Cody.
And we're here for another topic. No guest this time. We're actually going to focus on family law today. And we pull some fun facts. Higher or lower is the game. Yes.
Fun facts?
Yes. Hopefully they're fun. So you're gonna guess. I'm gonna read a statement. You're gonna have to guess whether if it's higher or lower.
Okay, let me put my reading glasses on.
What does it look like?
I can see.
But it's normal.
Perfectly fine, actually.
Nothing changes?
No.
Oh. So maybe my eyesight isn't that bad. Anyways.
No, they're really like... No, I can read it.
But can't you read it normally anyway?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make a difference.
Only when hold it back. No, I can see better without them.
Oh.
When it gets a little further, it blurs out a little bit. Yeah.
What is it when you can't see far? That's nearsighted, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm nearsighted.
You can see near.
Anyway, so we're going to read off questions and see what you guys think. And Cody, you're going to guess if it's higher or lower. So this first one, the number of divorces in Texas where adultery is cited as the primary cause is 10%. Is it higher or lower? So kind of like truth and false.
Can you repeat the question?
The number of divorces in Texas where adultery is cited as primary cause is 10%. Higher or lower? So people are saying that the reason for the divorce, 10% of the time, is because of cheating.
Higher.
The answer is higher. While adultery is a common reason for divorce, survey suggests that around 15 to 20% of divorces in Texas explicitly cite adultery. However, irreconcilable differences are cited more frequently because they're easy to prove. You know, my therapist was telling me the other day.
You have a therapist?
I do.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
I go see her every month.
Once a month?
Once a month. It used to be twice a month, but my schedule gets busier. And I was like, girl, hold her. So it's once a month. But I forgot what kind of conversation we were having, but she heard it on the news the other day that Texas might pass a law that... So Texas right now is a no-fault state. Do you know what that means? Meaning that you can still get a divorce without proving that there's something that went wrong. There's nobody is at fault for wanting a divorce.
Yeah.
Right? So some states, it's not a no-fault divorce, so you have to go through different measures and
That's weird.
Different steps and whatever. Anyways, so she saw it on the news that Texas might be thinking about making as a I don't know what the opposite, how would you call it?
At fault.
At fault divorce state, meaning that they might, like I said, I don't know how true this is or where she got her sources from, but they're saying that men can only agree to okay the divorce. So even though women wants the divorce, it's only up to the men to decide if they want to agree or disagree.
And if they want to disagree, then what?
Then you can't get a divorce.
The power to the people.
Yeah, I think it's kind of odd. I doubt that's gonna pass because that's gonna
put the men in control.
That's gonna set some really big controversy, especially with the recent election too. I don't know if that's what sparked the conversation. Like I said, I don't know how true that is. Obviously, it's not in motion right now. There hasn't been any kind of update that I've heard recently. But how do you feel about that? Because I've had calls where the guy is like, oh, I don't want this divorce. I want to stay married to my wife. I don't know what to do. But it's like, I'm sorry. Like, if your wife already initiated the divorce, too bad, so sad. It's going to go through.
Maybe something to where, like, instead of just doing it like that, you know, if one person doesn't want the divorce, they have to go through a certain amount of period of marriage counseling.
So Louisiana they have a law. I don't know if it's a law, but if they want a divorce, they do have to go through marriage counseling before they finalize a divorce. Do you believe that? Do you think that's a good route? Or should people just go ahead and go their separate ways?
I don't know. I guess for some people it may like help. Because if they're so reactive, they may not be thinking it through. Something that they could possibly work on. Or something that maybe neither one of them knew that they could work through. Marriage counseling will give them the opportunity to do it.
So if only...
But at the same time, I feel like that depends on the person.
Yeah.
Like the state trying to make it, you have to do this. I don't know.
Because, like, why should the state have or make you decide on the choice just because you don't want to be married to that person anymore?
For people that have already made up their mind, they'll just do it and be done with it.
I know. That's why I'm just like, why does it matter? To the state, you know what I mean? Why make it so complicated when it's between two people?
Maybe it could do some good. And it wouldn't, I don't think it would do anything worse, like more bad. Because if you're getting a divorce, you're already at that point.
Yeah.
You're going to go through with it. If you want to for real be done with it, you'll go through the marriage counseling and then be done with it. But if you want to do it, but you're just pissed off, then maybe it'll give you the opportunity to overcome.
Yeah. So I think we talked about this in the first episode. My God, how long has it been? It's been a couple months, huh? 3 months? 2 months? No. June, for real? Do you remember that?
He's lying.
I can't. Well, I don't know. I feel like we've been only doing this for like 3 months or something. Maybe it is long like that. And that's crazy. But I don't know if you remember, but in our first episode, we talked about what we think is a major cause of divorce. What did you say you think it was?
Cheating.
But it's only counting 10% is what people are at least filing.
I think there's more statistics.
Because, you have to check, right, when you file.
Adultery has got to be like 70% of divorces.
You think so? You think so? What do you think?
It's money.
Yeah,
that's the
financial.
Number one. It said adultery is only 10 to 15, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, money is number one.
Yeah, financial issues.
From adultery.
Oh, you're going to look it up.
Damn student loans. Yeah.
20 to 40%.
Is what?
Of divorces are linked to infidelity.
It's still high, but not as high as the other portion. I'm going to tell you right now, it's kind of personal, but my parents are going through separation right now. And then I'm not trying to be funny, but I feel for my mom. But at the same time, I've known from a really young age, and this is between my mom and my stepdad, that they always had financial issues.
Your stepdad, this isn't even your...
Yeah. Well, duh, my mom and my dad are already divorced. Yeah. Yeah, but, they've always had financial issues, always. And that's how I grew up, making sure I don't make their mistakes. Like, pay your bills on time. Don't get stuff that you can't afford. Little things like that. And then my parents have gone back and forth on whether they want joint account or separate account. Joint account, and then that didn't work, so then they did separate account, but I swear that made it worse.
I feel like that would make things worse,
right? Because they're not checking on with each other what they're spending, so then one person is getting agitated, like, well, hey, we need to pay this, like, where's the money for it? And they're like, oh, I don't know where it is, like, where's your portion, where's your money going at? So they've been doing that the last recent years, less than 5 years ago. They've been having separate bank accounts, and it just tanked. And then I'm asking my mom, I was like, okay, well, what do you pay, what do you have going on? And they're getting payday loans, this and that.
Payday loans, yeah, those have 30% interest.
Yes, high interest. And I'm telling my mom, let that shit go, don't even worry about them anymore. And then my stepdad, the same thing. He's getting all this payday loans, and that's all where your money is going at. But it's but they don't communicate those issues because one is prideful than the other. My stepdad, as a dad, as a husband, that man, you know, ego of like wanting to provide for your kids and your family. So when he doesn't have it and then he does need help, he doesn't seek those help. So then he just bottles it in and then doesn't say anything until it becomes an issue. So
So what do you do after learning from your
Joint.
You do joint or separate or
joint?
Joint?
Yeah,
That's
I do
nice,
joint.
huh?
I mean, because, and I talked about this in a different episode too, to where, and I'm thankful for my husband, the way he views those points too, where we're equal contributors, you know, like we may have different income levels, but at the same time, like his money is my money is his money. So whenever like we get paid, we say, oh, we got paid, you know, like today we got paid from one of his income. And then he was like, oh, yeah, we got paid today. Did you see it? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, you know, cool, whatever. But then I'm the one that's responsible to pay the bills because I like to make sure things are being paid on time because living with him, so before marrying him, dating him, living with him, he would be so pissed off when electric bills is like $400 or $500. I'm like, I don't know why this is so high. Well, I'm looking at the bill statement. I was like, well, you didn't pay last month. So it's carrying over from last month to this month. It's like, why didn't you pay? Oh, I don't know. I thought I did. So it's like little things like that. I make sure the
Do you
bills
get
are
in
on
trouble whenever you don't pay them?
I think
No,
it's
but
interest.
you get some like
Late fee or
late
something.
fees.
Yeah.
past due fees, but typically there's not a lot.
But it depends on what though.
Yeah.
Because if it's a credit card, then
Well,
you might
yeah.
get a 30%
Yeah.
interest on it.
Yeah, and it doesn't look good on your credit because, you know, it tracks your payment history. So, like, my payment history is 100%. It has not gone below that, and God knows
I think
when.
mine's like 95 or 99. No. Yeah, I don't think I've really missed. No, I've never missed a payment.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, I've never waited till the next month to pay anything. I've never missed a payment.
Yeah.
I feel like as you age, it gets messier and messier.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the start of the year, I only had my insurance and my car. That's it.
Yeah.
And now I got 3 credit cards.
Yeah.
My insurance, my car, this and that. And it's like a lot of stuff to like keep track of.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, imagine adding a house to that.
Yes.
Paying
My
the
girlfriend and I are getting a calendar.
Oh, yeah?
That helps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have spreadsheets.
or auto pay or some shit like that.
No, see, I don't like auto pay
I
because I still like
I
to.
hate auto pay, dude.
I still like to be in control of when I say you can take my money. So, like, my husband's biggest pet peeve is that I pay bills ahead. So, as soon as I get paid, I pay all the bills that's like 2 or 3 weeks that's within that time. I pay it all. He hates that crap because he's like, oh, I can see, you know, the money that you just can't let me have a couple days where I could just see the money just sitting there. I'm like, no, because you start spending money and you don't know what else is coming out. So no, I just want to go ahead and pay it off and get it out the way. And then we know exactly what's left on there.
Yeah.
But I have a spreadsheet.
I usually pay like the main bills ahead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'll pay, like for instance, on the 23rd, I'll pay. That's whenever my car note or my car insurance is due.
Mm-hmm.
And then the car note and, you know, the car note's on the 1st. So I'll pay on the 23rd, the insurance and the car note. And then once I get the next one, then I'll pay the 23rd and the 1st. And then I'll be ahead by like a month.
Mm-hmm.
But
And even
I hate auto
certain
pay.
credit cards, if you pay it early, then your interest rate is lower. So you don't have to pay as much in the long run.
If you're carrying a balance, that
Mhm.
is, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Good
tips.
That's the freaking credit card guru.
Maybe not credit cards, but auto loans.
Yeah, auto loan.
I do those for fun.
Yeah,
I love those.
I split my auto loans in half. That way I pay the first half a certain time and then the other half another time. I just split it that way.
Mm.
Yeah.
But that's like adding I hate that. Because it's like adding like a step. You know what I did? I paid my car till since like the 1st of November, I
Mhm.
paid it to the end of the year. So now I can say like I don't have any more car
Oh,
payments
really?
till the end of the till next year.
Yeah.
So it's just like liberating, you
You
Yeah.
gotta have bread to do that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that is true.
I hate the auto pays because sometimes it'll take out and I'm planning to pay it manually, and it'll just charge.
Oh,
and
you'll
I'll be
do it
like, "What the?
anyway. Yeah.
What happened?"
Yeah.
And I'm going. I'll be like, "Bruh,
Yeah. Or
internet."
my fear
Electric.
is overdrafting and not realizing
Yes.
because you have a lot of stuff on auto pay,
Yeah.
then it overdrafts your checking account.
You don't
Yeah.
have it stopped because sometimes you can stop that to make sure you don't overdraft.
Ooh.
Like certain bank accounts won't even let you allow to do.
But you have to have it come from your savings.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You can do it through checking. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Like if you'll go like the way my account set up is it has overdraft protection.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't have everything in my checkings and something auto pays, it'll take it from my savings.
Oh, you're
But
talking
it'll be
about
left
auto
at
pay
0.
stuff. Okay.
In general.
Oh, well, you can stop it. Like, even if you go to a store and then you have $10 in your account and you spend 20, it'll decline it. You won't even let you swipe.
No, mine does. Mine
Yeah.
lets me swipe.
You can stop it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Talk to your bank. You can stop it.
Yeah.
So that way you make sure you don't
That-
overdraft.
That like lifesaver to take it from your savings. That sounds good.
Overdraft protection. That's
I'll
what it's
look into
called.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's cool. Sometimes it throws me off though, because I'm like, if it'll happen, I like look at it and I'm like, dude, I swear they took like $70 more
Mm-hmm.
than what I needed. But I don't know, when I add it up, I guess not. It's just confusing sometimes.
Because I had a bank that I didn't know I overdrafted. And then it wasn't until a couple days later when I'm looking at my bank and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know I overdrafted. And then a few weeks later, $35 late overdraft fee. I'm like,
Yeah.
but I already, put some money in there, but they
Yeah.
still charged me that overdraft fee anyway. I'm like, oh. So yeah, I have that turned off. Okay, next question. The percentage of divorces in Texas that involve a contested custody battle is 40% higher or lower. So meaning every single divorce that's happening in Texas, it involves a contested custody battle 40% of the time. Higher? I thought it was higher too. It's actually lower. Only about 20 to 25% of divorces involve contested custody battles. Most parents reach agreement through mediation or settlement,
a contest.
avoiding the emotional and financial strain of going to trial. Now, even if you go to mediation, I'm pretty sure most of the time, I'm sure it's still contested. It's just they reached to an agreement. Maybe some.
I was thinking
not be
how
that
many
happy.
divorces involve a custody.
Contested, yeah.
I was gonna guess like 48, like almost over half. Or
Yeah,
just
probably
below
more
half.
than that, yeah. Yep.
Who do you think gets the kids most of the time? The mom or the dad?
Back then, the mom.
No.
Mm,
I see what you're saying. Because
The
back
father.
then the mom didn't work, and now women work a lot more. Both parents
maybe the
work.
father.
I think it's still women. I get it.
Sad to say, it is
It
still
probably
the women.
is, but
It is.
I feel like it's going in the direction of the father.
Texas is
There's a lot
heavily
of statistics that have came out
towards
saying
mom.
that
Yeah.
the kids usually end up better being with the father statistically.
No, I think you might refer to kids do better if they have a father present, not just the mom. But having just one parent leads to a declinement in the kids.
I think
Not necessarily if it's the father or the mother, just one missing. It's worse.
I think what I looked up one time or what I read one time is that fathers the kids do better in the presence, like for custody. They do better. They end up better in the father.
So I know y'all don't have kids right now, and then maybe in the future y'all do. I don't know. What do you think about and it might be controversy, so bear with me. Try to answer. What do y'all think about like whooping, like as a form of punishment?
Whoop them.
Did y'all get whooped as a kid?
Hell yeah.
You
Yep.
did?
Hell yeah.
Whoop 'em.
Did you get whooped?
Yes.
Really?
No.
Do you think so? Because you were whooped as a kid, do you think as a parent, would you do the same, or would you change it because of?
I think it's a resource, right?
What do you mean?
Like you don't have to. So
I'm not sure about it.
it was a few times that
Mm-hmm.
I got like really whipped, right? But it was for like a good reason, a very good reason. And I now that I think about it, I definitely deserved that one and more.
Did you learn it as a kid? Do you feel like did that change you, the outcome? Like whatever mistake that you did you not do it anymore? Or did you still do
I
it
mean,
anyway, but just be careful?
I think that
I didn't necessarily get like whooped. I would get pinched. I've caught a few backhands. Pinched. Like, thrown. Not thrown. But like grabbed the arm and like pulled over and like, yeah, I've gotten onto it, but I've never really been like whooped by a belt or anything.
Nah, I haven't.
But I've been
But never been
spanked.
grabbed. But
Yeah.
like for
my
me,
mom backhanded me with the ring on one time, busted my lip. It wasn't on purpose. It was more like
She just so happened to have a
she
ring
just
on.
had a ring on. Yeah.
What were you saying, Mario?
On the way to church.
I mean, I wasn't really whooped that much, but when I did, like it helped me understand the gravity of what I did, which was really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like and now that I'm 24, I can like see that.
Like
Right?
what?
Were you young or like teen?
No, I'm like teenager,
Really?
like 14,
Really?
15.
Oh, I never got whooped like
Yeah.
that old. I was like,
mean,
it
it depends on what you did, you know.
Yeah, I didn't really.
So do you think would y'all do the same as a parent?
Oh yeah.
If someday
Yes.
you guys have kids?
Like if it's egregious, like usually I think you can talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like something you have to make a point,
Oh, talk it out.
Then,
So you're a gentle parent?
I don't know.
Gentle
but I feel
parenting.
like if it's something like really bad, then I think the belt must be used
Yeah?
to make a point. Yeah.
You saying you're whoop them too?
Oh, I'm whooping. I'm whooping.
I think it's so funny to me. So
Boy, don't talk back to me. Wow.
as a kid, my mom didn't believe in it. So I never got whooped. I got whooped twice, but I was like really, really baby, like 3. So I don't remember. But growing up, like teenage years, like preteen, whatever, it was just yelling. Like but at the same time, my mom was really good at. She just had to give me the look, and I just knew. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
or like she'll call out my full name,
Mhm.
my middle name included, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm about to get in trouble. But I never got whipped. But as an adult now, and as a parent now, we do whoop. Not me, because these are my step babies. So, I don't do that as a respect and legally. Like, I'm not going to cross that boundary. But with my child that's coming on the way, if she does something, I'm going to whoop them.
What does she have to do for you to cross that line? Like, what's the
Like,
point?
same thing.
Talking back.
I do
I don't
think.
feel like that's like, because that's something every child's gonna do.
No, not every child talks back.
Not
man.
every child.
Like once in their life, they're gonna do it.
If they don't learn,
Well, they will do it. Especially so our oldest she's 12. She's
not
gonna
just
be 13.
any type of talking back, but like
She has
talking
attitude.
talking back. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
catch something.
I do, like, even
Chonka.
now, like I said, I don't put my hands on the kids or nothing. That's all my husband right now. But do I scold them? Do I like tell them like, hey, like stop that, or no, you need to do, like, I do all of that, you know what I mean? So they do listen, and they respect my authority figure. So I do agree to some, and every kid is different, whooping. Like, I know for a fact our oldest, that whooping don't do nothing for her. She just takes it and be like, whatever. But is she going to continue to do whatever she was doing? Yes. our middle one, whooping works. Our youngest one, I don't know what. We're still trying to figure out what actually works for them, because we can take away tablets, we can take away TV time, and it doesn't faze her. But at the same time, it's like, bro, fix your shit. Like, why aren't you not getting it? So then when you whoop her, like, yeah, she cries, but it doesn't necessarily fix the action at the end of the day, because she'll do the same thing like a week later, you know? So it's like every kid is different. You can talk to them, you can reason with them, and they might understand it and change. But
I think I don't know. Understanding the kid is the biggest part. Because I'm not just gonna go crazy with whooping.
Right.
But you know, they're gonna feel my wrath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not just, it's not gonna be sweet. You know, it's not gonna, you're not just gonna do this and act like it's okay and think that it's gonna be okay. Like, if you continue to do this. And I would do like compound. Like, it'll get worse and worse. The punishment will get worse and worse and worse. Not by physical force, but like you said, TV time and taking tablets away. It'll continue to get longer and longer and longer. You know, like,
because kids sometimes they have to understand, right? That sometimes I feel like they don't. Mm-hmm. Like, you as a kid don't understand what you did is wrong. You're like, just, like, you might have done something really dangerous, and you're like, whatever,
right? Yeah. So you have to teach them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think the first approach before that even happens is like teaching. Yeah. And discipline.
100%.
Right. Discipline and teaching. Sure. Like, you know, hopefully by the time I get to that point, I would have, you know, a house or a home, and I want land. Do some chores, you know? Like, go mow the lawn, milk the cows. Really. Like, go get the chickens. Get the chicken eggs. You know? Clean the yard. Go rake the leaves. Pick up all the sticks and everything.
Not the sticks.
And I'm going to have dogs. Go grab all the poop that's in the yard. Yeah, like things like that.
I hated that when I was a kid.
So like, do stuff like that, you know, but it's not just like, make it fun. Make it a teaching process, a teaching moment, because then with teaching it comes more understanding, and they'll understand more about why what they're doing is wrong or why what they're doing is right. So I think I think discipline and like having stuff like that has a lot to do to where you don't need to whoop it. You don't need to make them feel pain and because psychologically, I feel like it's in their brain, it associates action with pain. If I do this, I'm gonna feel pain,
right?
And it produces fear. But with fear comes a lot of different things. With fear comes, oh, I did this, but I'm not gonna tell them because I'm fear.
Yeah, and I think that's where I got good at as a teenager, because I didn't get whooped. I'm not gonna lie, I went behind my parents' back a lot as a kid, and I didn't tell my parents a lot of stuff because, there was no physical consequences, but I know other consequences were greater. But I outsmarted them first before I even got in trouble, you know. So,
and I think like I'm not gonna whoop them until they like need to be whooped.
Yeah,
like if they, you know, like. If the kids talk to you a certain type of way, what does your husband do?
I mean, he'll scold. I mean, he's not. Our first option is not whoop, and just to clarify, don't call CPS. Right, but you know, but same thing. I mean,
but if they like talk crazy to you,
oh, my husband will step up for sure.
Oh yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't talk to your mother like that,
right?
You know, type of thing,
right?
So they can you know. You want to back talk me and do this and stuff, and okay, maybe. But the mom,
you're pretty young still, right?
Yeah.
You got some rough years ahead when teenager.
Well, like I said, our oldest is going to be 13 in February, so we're already feeling that attitude phase. But like I said, I'm big on my husband is too, but he lets me talk in those type of situations. So we had an issue not too long ago about her posting a video on TikTok of herself, and she was dancing, and we didn't think it was appropriate. So we had to have a talk with her. So it wasn't like a yelling, like, what the hell, you posting stuff like that. It wasn't anything like that. But then, as a 12-year-old mind, she may not be familiar of, okay, who may be watching those videos that you probably shouldn't be posting these videos
I'm gonna
to.
be honest.
You know?
My kids are not having social media.
Oh, trust me, it's
They're
not.
They're not having social
Their
media.
mom allows it, so that's where we have the
No,
issues too. Yeah,
You're not having Instagram, Facebook, none of that. TikTok, nope, nothing.
Right.
You are not having. And I don't know, man. I'll get you a pager.
well, and then we have a point to where like she
Pager.
doesn't have a phone right now, and we made a point to where if you want a phone, you have to have certain things. Obviously, good grades. You know what I mean? Just your responsibility, like making sure like we trust you and stuff like that. Like those have to be in line in order for us to say like, okay, we feel like you're deserving of a phone.
Because
And
do
whatever.
they really need a phone? I mean, okay,
Certain
here's the thing.
situations, yes, because
Here's the
she's in
thing.
sports and stuff like that.
But
you
here's
know?
the thing, though. If I'm at that point, I would hope that it's at the point where I would be extremely involved in my kids' life.
Yes.
So that way, you don't need to be like, hey, can you pick me up from practice? I'm already going to be there.
Right.
I'm the one dropping you off,
Right.
and I'm going to be there, and then we'll drive home.
Right.
I want it to be like that, to where I don't need. There won't be any instances where you will need a phone.
Right. So my husband even said that too, because her argument is like that. Well, everybody else has a phone. And then my husband was like, but you're always with me. And so
I made that argument.
you know,
I
like
think,
why
too,
would
before.
you need a phone? Like I'm always picking you up from school. I'm always here. You're always at home. Why would you need a phone?
I had a phone, and I can admit that I
But
was
I'm telling
not being
you, some of
trustworthy
these
with
like
my
5,
phone.
6-year-olds be having a phone these days. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
no, it's not happening.
I don't understand.
Who are you
that.
talking to?
Exactly.
Who are you
Like,
talking to?
you shouldn't be talking to nobody.
You have
Like, your
direct
parents and
access
your
to
friends
the
at
internet.
school.
Right.
You
And
know, you
that's
have
the biggest
everything.
fear.
And
But
I'm a tech person, so it's like you're not gonna be able to do stuff and try to hide it. I'm gonna know
Yeah.
everything, and it just
Maybe that's a compromise, you know, giving your child a phone, but you gotta tell them like, anytime I want to, once a week, I'm gonna be checking this.
But see,
Yeah,
I'm in
I'm
such a
gonna be-
gray area because my mom growing up, so I didn't get a phone until 16 or something like that. So my mom always threatened me with that too. Like, oh, I'm going to check your phone, I'm going to check your messages, whatever. Granted, thank God she didn't, because I was not doing the best thing with my phone. But again, I mean, that's karma, right? Because she was so loose with me, free. But like my grades spoke itself. Like I had all A's. I didn't get in trouble, you
grades
know?
don't reflect morality.
True. And then,
Yeah.
but
And
you know,
that's my biggest thing
and in
too.
her
is like,
mind, like that
you
was cool. Like I took care of my shit, you know, I was on time with everything. I wasn't a trouble kid at all, anywhere in front of, you know, social life, whatever, school, whatever. But at the same time, thinking back, I'm like, man, but I did so many things and you didn't know about it. So it's like
And-
you want to give the trust to your kids and making
Yeah.
sure they grow up and learn from them, because I definitely made some mistakes and I learned from it and I'm thankful now. But at the same time, okay, now as an adult, as a parent, I know the stuff that I've done. Do I be more helicopter now that what I know now, you know? Because like my mom, for them, she didn't have a phone. Internet wasn't a thing. So it's different generations. So there was that uneducated mindset of what's available and not
Yeah.
available, you know?
And I feel
Especially
like
now.
those are two
Right.
different things, though. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you have you have a phone, but you have to get good grades. You know, you have to have responsibility. I think those are separate issues.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have responsibility, but you're also gonna have good morals.
Yeah.
And good morals, teaching good morals doesn't go hand in hand with responsibility. You can have terrible responsibility and have good morals. You can have good morals and terrible and good responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
So
I feel like you can have good morals, good grades, but it's not gonna remove your sense of curiosity. You know,
Mhm.
But
but
that's-
sometimes it's a little bit dangerous, especially as a kid.
but that's where
Right?
it comes into a place where you can have curiosity. It's normal, it's natural. But ask. Don't be afraid
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
ask questions, to have a safe space with your parent.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can do all those things and not have the safe space with your parent. You're still
See,
gonna do
I
that.
didn't have that.
So guide in the right direction. I didn't really either. I never
I
told
didn't
my
have that.
mom like anything. I never really asked her stuff. Nothing like that. She just taught me like financial things, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like these are separate things and they have to be dealt with separately. And they have to be dealt with extensively. You know?
Mhm.
So it's like but I'm getting good grades. Okay, good. That's your responsibility. That's what responsibility is. This is something that you should be doing and you need to do, because if you don't, it's going to come back and get you.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be sitting there like, oh, well, what happened? I don't even know what happened. Well, you didn't know what happened because you didn't care about your responsibility. So be responsible. You get good grades. You don't get an award for taking care of your responsibilities, because when you grow up, you're going to understand there is no reward for taking care of your responsibilities.
That is true. That's a very good point.
So I'll look at be a good parent.
I mean, it's true.
I feel like I would. I have good mindset when it comes to those things, because like you said, you had good grades. You were taking care of all your stuff, but were you doing what you were supposed to with your phone?
No.
Exactly.
And I definitely went to places that I wasn't supposed to, but I didn't tell my parents.
Exactly.
And it's funny because I tell my mom now, like, oh, by the way, I don't know if you remember, but when you picked me up from so-and-so's house, I was at a party the night before. And like, she wouldn't know. I'm like, what? And then like, it's just things like, I just know, God forbid, I hope it's not karma, because people always say that to me, like, your daughter is going to be your karma.
Yo, nah, that's crazy. Probably.
It probably is, to be honest.
But it's like one of those things where I think it's a separate issue.
Yeah.
Everything's a separate issue. And I think a lot of parents, kudos to every parent, because y'all try your best.
Right.
I mean, most of them do. Most of them try their best.
Yeah.
But for the ones that do really try their best, you're trying your best. And you did try your best. And, that's all it is. But I think some of those things, it's not tied in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a group. You can't put them all together and be like, okay, if you do this, you get all of these things. It's not. It's like, when I think about it like marketing. You have to test one variable at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see what works for each different option. So it's like, you get good grades. Cool, good. That's your responsibility. You're supposed to get good grades.
How far should parent responsibility should be for their kid? And what I mean by that, like financially, like anything related, does it stop at 18? Or is it more like whenever they need help until then, if you're able to? Or
what do you mean?
So like, for example, my husband and I talk about this too. College. I was told when I went to college that I was responsible for my debt, that they're not going to help pay for school. My husband, on the other hand, if we have the means, then if we can pay, then we're going to pay when they grow, older and they're ready to go to college or whatever. I'm still on the fence because like, it's like you learn responsibility. And I think you know what I'm talking about because you had to pay yours too.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
a good
like,
question.
Financially, yeah, as a parent, you want to be there. But at the same time, do you let them have that responsibility and learn how to pay it? Or are you going to be okay sitting back and, let them have a debt?
Again, I think it's one of those things where as a parent, it's not necessarily taking care of your kid after that point. I think it's guidance. It turns into like guidance. You need to guide them because they're not always going to fall in between the lines.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where hopefully they will learn, because I think one of the main points is doing things when you don't want to do them.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do things, even when you don't want to do something, do it, because that's what builds resilience.
Mm-hmm.
That's what builds the maturity, is doing things when you don't want to do them. And you're going to have to do that. After you get to a certain age, you're going to have to do that. After you get into high school, you're going to want to do that. Middle school probably starts there. Elementary school, you can't really do too much to where it's like, if you don't do them, terrible things are going to happen. But middle school is where it probably starts.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where hopefully obviously this is the plan, but nothing ever goes according to plan. But when I have a child, they will learn responsibility and they will learn discipline and doing the things that they don't want to do. And hopefully, when they get a job, whether I'm paying, hopefully I'm in a position to where I could pay them for doing things that they don't want to do. Hey, you're going to help so-and-so. They need help setting this up at your baseball thing. I want my kid to be able to be that person that's humble
Mm-hmm.
and that will help do things and know that they're getting rewarded for being a good person. Whether the reward starts off with money, you could start off the correlation, if they do things like, they help take out the trash, they do the lawn, they do this, $20. But,
Teaching. Oh, go ahead. You're going to say something? No, I was going to say teaching kids to be humble is so hard.
Yeah.
Because like
it's natural for them to not.
They don't understand the value of money yet. So like thankfully, like, we're not in a situation where, we're scraping things like, oh, we may have to skip a meal to pay this bill. Like thankfully, we're fortunate enough that we're not in that position. So we are able to offer them what they want. With limitations, obviously. We're not just going to like buy everything and anything that they want. But it's like to a point where like me and my husband, like we grew up in that way to
That's
where
hard.
we have to wait for certain things. We couldn't be asking for certain things all the time as a kid. But now as an adult, you almost want to do that for them because we had to struggle as a kid. So we understand,
That's it's a fine line.
Right. So my husband is like, oh, but we can do this. We do this. And I'm like, no, that's too much. Like, I didn't grow up with a TV in my room ever. All my teenage, like never. That was not a thing. But my husband is like, soon as they're born, like, oh, they're going to have a TV. I'm like,
middle school, late middle school was probably whenever I got one.
Me neither.
I never
But it felt good when you bought it for yourself.
Yeah.
And you put it in your
And
own.
you know
Me
what's
too.
funny?
Yeah.
The first TV that I ever
Killer.
bought for myself, I bought a nice one.
Yeah,
And
but then
it
again,
felt
like,
so good.
but it's
love that
it's more
TV.
meaningful to you at
Yeah.
that point. You know what I mean? Because
Oh,
you
yeah.
did something for yourself because you couldn't have it as
Yeah.
a kid or whatever. But I just feel like kids now, like that's why I'm a little bit afraid to do so much, even though we have the means to. We have the means to make the kids happy, complete their Christmas wish. You know what I'm saying? Like we have the means to do that for them, but teaching them to be humble is so hard because sometimes I feel like they just expect it. Or if we don't do what we did previously and it didn't outdo the last time, then they're disappointed. So it's like, and like our oldest understands, but our middle one, oh my God. And I'm maybe it's a boy, I don't know. But he's just like, we got him a PlayStation. He's like, oh, I thought I was going to get an RC car too. I'm like, boy, PlayStation is expensive. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
That's the gift that every kid, like, if he would have gotten the RC, he would have said, oh, where's the PlayStation?
my mom,
right.
my mom got me the first like console in middle school, I think too. Yeah, she got me the PlayStation 4, like a little bit after the Christmas. I got it for Christmas after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, when I tell you after I was done doing that, I set that thing up so fast. I swear I was on it for the rest of the day and the night. Yeah. And I don't know how late I stayed up, but that was like the best
But
feeling.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you don't see that often, or if you don't get that gifted often, then that one time that it happens to you, you appreciate it so much more. So
yeah,
teaching them humble and like the value of money is so hard.
I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's really difficult. I'm thinking about it right now. It's difficult. Yeah. But like for instance, I wanted a gaming PC. Right, I was a teenager. I had my laptop. Probably like in beginning of high school or something like that. I was 15 and I really wanted a gaming PC. They were like, I don't know, $1,400 at the time for like decent enough one to be like Jesus. Running the games back then. Nowadays it's so much different with all the different stuff. You need a pretty powerful PC.
But is it more expensive now or cheaper?
I think there's more options now.
Yeah, it's probably cheaper now. No. But I remember, I wanted to do that, and I started working with my brother in construction when I was 15, and they were kind of paying me under the table almost. And I opened up a checking, and I was like a kind of a helper, take the little I don't know, like wood floors, help lay down floors, peel the carpet up, and take all the trash and the what are those things called? I forget. The little things, they're like little. It's got a wheelbarrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that was silly.
Like a crate.
Put all the carpet in there, take it to the dump truck. Help with the tools and help do things around, clean up the property, clean everything, make sure it's good to go for whenever we leave, stuff like that. And they were paying me like $10 an hour. Oh, I thought I was hot with that $10 an hour too. I'm like, $10 an hour, that's not bad for a 15-year-old.
From like nothing to like your first job.
And your first paycheck.
It feels like
I got a first paper check.
I still, yeah, me too. Yeah. The actual like check. And I remember I still have a picture of that check. It was like $235 or $235, I think, something like that, or $236. And dude, we were working like 12-hour. It was like 12. It was hard. It was like 12-hour shifts. 12. I remember one job we did at this daycare, and we worked overnight, and it was like 12 hours the first day, and then like 11 and 11. And those are long days. We get home at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. And you get home, you're just like, oh gosh, take a shower, go to sleep. As soon as you wake up, do it again. And now we got to be back at the shop. And before we get to the shop, in the morning, because there was different schedules, but, if we were cleaning the entire property, my brother would do the tree saw, cut the tree branches. I would rake everything, pick up all the tree branches, put it in the trailer, drive the mule. It's like a little 4x4 basically. Drive the mule to the burn pile, throw all the branches on there in the burn pile, light the burn pile, and then.
And your gaming PC.
Yeah, so I worked, and then they were working out of state. The job moved to like an out of state, somewhere far. My mom wasn't comfortable with it, but I was able to save up like $700, like half of it, and my mom helped me buy the rest.
I think that's really good. Yeah. Because I think financially, if you match whatever your kid is doing, it teaches them.
Yes.
Like I remember, I have the same story, but with a car.
Yeah.
Right. I got my first job, then I saved up for like a car, and then I told my dad one day, "Hey, I'm gonna buy this car. I think I already got enough to put the down payment." And what he told me is, "Okay, let's go." And in the moment, he put the same amount as me, and I got less debt overall.
Yeah.
And that felt really good.
Yeah, because it still feels like you did it. Like it still feels like you worked towards it, and you could say like, I achieved this.
Yeah.
And you can still, as a parent, you can still help your child. That way.
I think that's probably the route that I would take. My mom, I felt really bad because I was like, please let me go. Like I tried to get her to let me go, and she wasn't comfortable with it because it was going to be far, and I don't know how long the hours were, and maybe I would end up getting in the way more than helping or something. But she ended up matching me for it, and I built my first like gaming PC. She didn't trust me to put it together on my own, so we had to pay. Who was it? I forget. These people to
Kevin?
Put it together. No, Kevin did help me with one of my. Kevin's the IT guy for the office, but I think that's like probably the route that I would take, because as far as being humble, there's different opportunities for that. Especially because my first car was my grandma's car, ugly PT Cruiser.
But still,
she never used it, and my cousin didn't want it because he was like, "I don't want that car. Like, that's ugly. Like, what am I doing? What am I gonna do with that car?" And I'm like thinking about myself. My mom's telling me like, I can't afford this and this and this. Like, this is a good opportunity, and you're not gonna have that much debt. And so I took it, and I was like, okay.
As a kid, you don't understand that though, because I made a mistake of getting a car. I had 0 credit. Yeah. But because my stepdad brought home a car for him just to test drive it, and I'm like, oh my God, I really like that car. And then turn around, he was like, okay, well, you can get it. And I'm like, okay. And then like I was just like fresh out of high school. I had no credit, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So the job that I had literally paid for the car note, and then the interest rate was so freaking high. But then like I wish my parents would teach me credit. Like
my mom taught me a little bit about credit and numbers and paying bills. One thing that always stuck with me that she told me was like, you know, if you tell somebody that you're gonna do something, you do it, and if you ever owe somebody money, that's whatever money you have is not your money, it's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's one thing that she always told me, because like, you know, let's say Mario gives me $20 and when I get paid, I'm like, oh yes, I got paid. The first thing that pops in my mind, that's not my money.
Right.
Boom, done.
Mm-hmm.
You get rid of it. It's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why I pay my bills.
I was sitting there. I remember I was sitting in that PT Cruiser with like one of my friends. I'm still friends with him to this day. Jamonte.
Mm-hmm.
We were driving to the gym or something. We were in the parking lot getting McDonald's. I was like, I look over at him with this ugly PT Cruiser, bro. And I look over and I'm like, you want to see how fast it goes? I slam on it. It's just. But it's those moments that were like so funny, dude. But I think there's plenty of opportunities to teach your kid those things if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
If you like really think about it instead of, because I feel like a lot of times with parents too, you get so caught up in everything. You know, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to pay this bill, I got to pay this bill, I got to be here, I got to be here, and you forget to like take time with those little moments with the kids, and that's where you can overlook instances to teach. So, yeah.
Teaching. So we'll do another one. The percentage of Texas divorces involving couples married for less than 5 years is 25%. Higher or lower?
Can you repeat the question?
So, again, the percentage of the Texas divorce involving couples married for less than 5 years is 25%. Basically meaning anybody who's married less than 5 years, the divorce rate is 25%.
Higher.
Higher or lower? Higher. Around 30 to 35% of divorces in Texas involve couples married for less than 5 years. This group often includes younger couples who face financial instability or evolving life goals. Do you agree with that? I think mostly like younger couples.
I disagree with the statistics.
You do?
So, editor put a counter of, can you repeat that?
I should have rephrased the question, but I mean, like, do you see that that's a good, what am I trying to say? Like, do you understand, I guess, the statistics to where, you know, you can, like, I can see that, like, people who marry so quick and maybe young, who may not have the financial stability yet, and they've only been married less than 5 years, will end up in divorce.
But I think it's like a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's like a taught thing. Like, you don't give up when things get tough.
But then, you know, I mean, think about it. With older folks, like grandparents, our grandparents, they probably got married 18, 19, 17, 20.
16.
Right? And they're still going on.
Yeah,
you
like
know? But I wonder what the difference is.
My grandma and my grandpa were dirt poor. Dirt poor. Dude, they had like 7, 8 kids. They would buy one chocolate bar. Every now and then they'd get one chocolate bar. And you know the little squares on the Hershey's?
Mm-hmm.
Each kid would get one.
Aww.
That's how poor they were.
Mm-hmm.
And they stayed together. You know, they stayed together, and he'll go and come and work in the States in Chicago, and then, you know, come back for, you know, he'll be gone for a while at a time. And eventually he got enough to bring them all to the United States. But
I think you appreciate that support too. Like, I've heard recently with like athletes, you know, who are NFL stars, NBA,
I'd rather suffer
whatever,
together than suffer alone.
That, you know, hey, like, she was with me when I didn't have anything, and she stuck with me. And so it's me and my husband talk about this too, to where, like, why go outside of a marriage and go look for something when you have somebody good at home, you know, who have been stuck with you for so many years, who supported you when you didn't have anything.
Struggling together brings a different type of strength and confidence in your partner.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think confidence, is the key.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, it's difficult.
Because you don't want to put the person down for not meeting quote unquote expectations if you didn't have enough, you know.
But those types of expectations, they're not reality all the time. it falls. It's like you can't expect to be young and marry somebody who has their life together, their finances together, and everything planned out and ready to go. It just doesn't happen. That's not how life works. But you can build that with them together, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important thing too, is struggle. It's easier to struggle together than to struggle alone. You know, people who struggle together, there's a way out. But for people that struggle alone, sometimes there's not a way out.
But then again, I learned a lot struggling alone. So when I come together, I understand what to do and not be so dependent on somebody when it's...
That's fair. But I think there's good things and there's bad things.
Yeah.
Because how long did it take you for you to be comfortable with him taking care of things for you?
It took a minute, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because, I mean, you even know my personality. I don't like when people help me. I have such a hard time letting somebody in to do that for me. Because I always feel like, no, that's mine. That's my responsibility. I have to do this. I have to do that. So when somebody else to come in... Right. When somebody else to come in to do that. And he literally, I mean, we had a conversation early on dating to where you need to let me love you.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, yes, you learn how to do it. But typically when you do that alone, you also pick up on some wrong things too. To where it's like, yes, you get confident, but people can get overconfident and thinking that they could take the world on by themselves. If you try to go through this world alone and you don't learn to depend on anybody, you will suffer alone. You will not make it through this world. You will not live a happy life. You can't go through this life without depending on somebody. You can't go through this life, you know, figuring out how you're going to do this, that, and the other on your own. Like you can. I'm sure it's possible, and there's people that have done it, but it's going to be miserable. And you're never going to get a time to rest. You're never going to get a moment to just calm down and not have to worry about it. So, yeah.
We're just all looking at Mario.
Mario's behind the camera, like, looking at the cameras.
Thank you for watching another episode of Legal Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode, you can always give our office a call to schedule your free 30-minute consultation with one of our team members. Check the description below and give us a call today.